Comes to the production you're seeing from Lamar as a wide midfielder compared to last year, is there something that's kind of tactical that's changed in the way you're using him or allowing him to move forward more?
No, it's just a matter of Lamar understanding, the position a little bit better. I think it was tough for him last year because he played so many games up front, and then when the adjustment came to playing wide, it felt like a different animal to him. But, he had scored, when he had been with us the year before he went to Montreal, he scored as a wide player, and that's where he'd gotten his goals from. So we knew he was capable of scoring goals from that position.
I think you guys got to be feeling good about what's happened lately, but now you got to stretch here 9 days, 3 games. How are you looking forward to that?
Obviously we're looking forward to it because 2 of the games are at home, and we've got a conference game on the Wednesday, but we got to look at the Philly game first. So our guys are looking forward to that. I mean, playing Philly on Saturday and then coming back on Wednesday is not so bad because Dallas has to play on the weekend as well. The following weekend when we play in New England, it's a little bit harder because they don't have a midweek game. So then we've got to look at, maybe where guys are with their legs and maybe rest some people. But for us right now, we're just looking forward to the games. We want to stay in rhythm and stay in the groove that we're in.
Do you look to rotate players ahead of that, or do you just see how things go from game to game?
We'll see how things go from game to game. I mean, there's certain rotations that are in our mind, for sure, and things that we're thinking about where we know maybe, for example, maybe the competition is close. So, you're going to play 3 games, so maybe you got 3 guys for 2 positions. So maybe you're saying in your mind, okay, you can get each guy 2 starts here. So that's one obligation. You sort of know which guys probably are going to have a difficult time coming back on the Wednesday after playing Saturday, and that's another possible rotation.
Is Brad getting close to being back into a starting position?
Yeah, I think, he's been able to train full. He trained fully today as well. So, we'll make that final decision tomorrow. But in terms of where he's at physically and fitness-wise, we think he's ready to come back in and start.
And Leo?
Leo trained today. We kept him away from the team stuff after the warm-up. He felt he could have gotten into that team stuff. So I think Saturday might still be a little bit early for Leo, but I think Wednesday is definitely a possibility.
How much easier does Dylan's play make the decision to maybe rest Leo a little longer?
Well, I think Dylan's played well, so it means we don't have to rush into it. When Leo's ready, he's ready, but we've got 2, I think, very good left backs right now in Leo Gonzalez and Dylan Remick. So, got to make sure one of those 2 guys is healthy all the time, but I think we got 2 good options there.
Does where you are on the table also factor into when you want to bring guys back from injury?
Say that again, I'm sorry.
Where you are on the table, maybe if you were struggling a little bit more?
No, because you always want to get points, because at some point you're going to hit a streak where you're not going to win all the games that you want to win, and you're going to hit a bad streak. That's just the way it works out over a season's time period. So right now we're in a good role. We want to maximize the points that we can get, and we still want to put every game. We want to put the best team out on the field. Sometimes that best team means that we got to rest some guys because they're tired or they're injured. But as a whole, we try and put the best team on the field.
Clint, the chemistry between Oba and Clint, you've been asked about it before, but is it more because of their natural ability to do what they do, or is it the work they put in? How much is it of each one, maybe?
I think it's a combination of all of that. I think number one, they like playing with each other. They have a lot of respect for each other's abilities. They know that they're going to get the ball back from each other. When we play at training, whether we train 5v5 or 9v9 or whatever it is, we always try and put the 2 of them on the same team. So there's, we want them to be, and just really comfortable with each other and playing off of each other, and I think that's paid its benefits also. But and then they're both quality individual players. So it's, like I've said, somebody's 4-4-2 is not the same as somebody else's 4-4-2 because of the ability of the players.
Back to Dylan a little bit. What did you think of his progression this year in terms of what you may have seen from him in the season opener and what you saw from him against the Rapids?
To be very honest, it's gone as I thought it would go. I had a lot of faith in him. I told him, at the end of last year that I had confidence in him, that I felt he could make a step forward this year and get in games. And, when he got into the games, I think he responded really well. He's improving all the time. He's listening to what we're asking him to do, and he's learning. So that part of it's been good.
What kind of things does Philadelphia bring to the table?
They're obviously a team that's improved a lot in midfield. They have a lot of different options there now with Fernandez and Noguera and Maidano, the Argentine player. And then they've got Adu, who they added, and they got Carroll. So they have a lot of options in midfield, and I think they're still searching for what the best combination of players are. You know, they made the trade, obviously, so they brought Winger in. Casey is back from injury right now, so he has a lot of people he can pick from. You know, Sebastian didn't start the last couple of games, but you know, I expect him in Seattle probably to be back in the lineup. And again, you know, the hard part preparing for them is you're not quite sure which options he's going to pull in this particular game.
With Maidano and Fernandez, I think they two guys that came from outside the league and have struggled a little bit. How do you keep them struggling, I guess?
Well, you know, I mean, it's obviously our league's a little bit different, so I don't know what their struggles have been. I mean, Fernandez has scored a couple of goals for them, so, you know, I think he's adapted maybe a little bit quicker. You know, a little bit depends. You know, they're trying to play a 4-2-3-1. You know, do they fit, you know, in that particular scheme? Like I said, you can't always tell what players really like to do until you get them in the games and you see what habits and tendencies they have. You know, I mean, that's really a Hackworth question more than me.
Philadelphia, I believe they're winless in their last 7. When a team's struggling like that, does it, you know, they're going to be coming in here hungry. Does that present any problems for you guys?
Well, obviously, you know, every team's going to be hungry, and they're certainly going to be a hungry team right now because they haven't. So we have to make sure we come out at the beginning of the game, that we're sharp, that we get our crowd behind us right at the start, and that we continue to make them feel as if, well, today's not the day. But obviously, you know, he's going to have them motivated. John's going to get them up, and they're going to, you know, maybe be happy to be on the road and try and snag some points here.
Jurgen today said that he expects all 30 players to be in when they start camp in Connecticut. What kind of things do you expect to see out of that group?
In Stanford, you mean?
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
What kind of things do you expect to see out of that group, especially considering these guys here?
You mean who the players will be, or
right.
yeah, I don't know. I mean, ultimately that's Jurgen's call. I mean, for sure Dempsey's been somebody's been in that group all the time. Evans has been in that group. Yedlin's been in that group lately. So those are probably the 3 guys from our team. You know, he's bringing in 30 to cut down, you know, eventually to 23. I mean, that's not an unusual situation. A lot of international national teams will bring in more than 23 because the players are done with league, so they don't want to bring somebody in for that camp and then somebody gets hurt and now you got to call somebody in and he's been on vacation, you know, in Mallorca for 2 weeks or something, you know, so you want to keep guys going. Our guys are a little different because guys are in mid-season and so they're playing, so he's bringing them in, and, you know, it's probably going to be a final decision for him and a cut down, so it's going to be I think a very intense month of May for maybe not all of the 30 players, but definitely 20 of the 30.
Do you think Marshall's done enough to get consideration for that group?
You know, I think Marshall's a good enough center back in comparison to the center backs with the national team that he deserves. He deserves consideration. Unfortunately, you know, the train is pretty far away from the station at this point, and do you really want to change and drop him onto that train at this stage? You know, that's really Jurgen's decision, and so it's a little bit about, you know, does he want to alter the group at this stage? Does he want to bring in a new presence into the group at this stage? And I think that probably hurts Chad as much as anything. But from a standpoint of quality, I think he certainly, you know, has a right to be in the discussion.